Hi Flosstube, it's Karen, recovering monogamous stitcher. I'm back with video number 46. Today is Friday, June 7, 2024. I will get this uploaded later today and hope all goes well with that. Welcome to my channel, Stitchers. So happy to have you here. My longtime subscribers, I really appreciate you, and if you're new, I appreciate you too. And if you've just come across my channel, I hope you'll see something that you enjoy and that you will be inclined to subscribe also. I have just passed 4,000 subscribers on my channel. I can't tell you how happy that makes me. I am just continually blown away that people think that what I show is interesting enough to come back and hang around and spend time with me. I appreciate it so much. Thank you so much to my subscribers. And I'm feeling the need to get a giveaway going. I don't want to wait till 5,000. I'll in a week or maybe in the next Flosstube, I'll try to have some things ready. We'll do a little giveaway. So if you're just stopping by, be sure to subscribe, hit that bell so you're notified when it goes up, and be watching for some goodies. Before I get going too far on this, I want to call out some new Flosstube channels. And I know there are so many Flosstubers, I know, and there's just hardly time to keep up, but these two are really worth adding to your return list and go back and watch them again and again. And I've heard them mentioned by others in the meantime since I had my last Flosstube. The first channel I would like to suggest to you is Hathaway Stitchers, Erinn and Amity. They also happen to be members of Central Kentucky Stitchers, let me just tell you that. And they're so much fun to watch. I've not met them in person yet. I met one of them on our last Zoom call, and that was so nice. And I'm looking so forward to, I hope they can come to a face-to-face stitching time. But they're so much fun to listen to, and just what a hoot. Just go watch once and you're just going to want to subscribe and watch them. They're great. The other channel, and I've heard, wait, also they do that cross-stitch salander. Instead of calendar, it's a salander, and they give you information about all sales that are going on. So if you are inclined to want to hook up to sales, they've got you covered. You can find a sale for almost anything out there. So that's okay, moving on. The next Flosstube I want to tell you about is Comfort Stitching, Jackie. Jackie is an artist. She is fantastic to watch, very interesting. Her first project that she picked up, you know, I guess when you don't know what you don't know, you just do it. She started with something, you know, just small and manageable, like Consider the Lilies. and her artist brain went to work on it, and she personalized it. She made wonderful changes that just make that project so her. And I'm just so looking forward to watching more of her videos and getting to know her and see her stitching. So welcome Jackie, Erinn, and Amity to Flosstube. Hope your numbers grow quickly and that you have great success. So what have I been doing in the last 2 weeks? On my last Flosstube, I told you I would commit to at least 1 day of finishing. I did that. Check. It took more like 3 days or parts of 3 days, but I got some things finished. The next thing I said I would do was I would get the long arm oiled up and ready to go. It is oiled up, it is dusted down. I'm ready to load something. I'm going to load something that I'm going to practice on because it's been over a year since I've handled the machine, and the machine's been sitting quietly, patiently waiting for me. And I'll show that to you at the end. So I'm ready to go on that. I told you I was going to unframe Strawberry Fields Forever and Cinnamon Stars, and I've done that, and they are now ready to go to the framer. On Tuesday is my plan to go, and I have something else to take also. I also had a Zoom with Queen City Sampler Guild. That's always a fun chat and fun to get to know those gals, some of whom I met at Nicola Parkman's retreat in Cincinnati. That was fun. So it's great to have a Zoom. If you can't be in person, at least a Zoom you can stay in touch, and that was great. Okay. let's get into all the things here. My FFOs, as I say, it was parts of 3 days that I spent on finishing, and I have several things completely finished. So let me show you what I have. Let's see, the first one I listed. In the book, The Winds of Autumn, Blackbird Design, Winds of Autumn, I finished this one completely and this one completely. So I will show you. So there's the book. Okay. I'm trying to figure out how I can efficiently go through these things and not end up with a mess that I can't find anything. Okay, October 31st. There's the top of it. It's a pin cushion, solidly packed with crushed walnut shells. Let me see, what are the details here? It was stitched on a random 16 count Aida that I used fabric dye that I watered down, and I scrunched it up in a jar and dyed that. So that was dyed by me. The only color on it is DMC 844. I found this fabric in my stash. Thought it went to, and I marked my initials and the year on the bottom. I thought it went pretty well with this, so I have it upside down. Yeah, upside down. And then I added the herringbone stitch around using the same color of floss. Let's see, what else I want to tell you about this. Oh, in the directions for this, you cut a cardboard template for your circle. And of course, you wrap your top around it, draw up, what do you call it when you just straight stitch around and pull it up. So it gathers around the cardboard, then you turn it over and press it so that it holds the shape. Take the cardboard out, do the same thing for the bottom piece. And the instructions said do the same thing for the bottom piece. So I was stuck thinking, so do I leave the cardboard in like I would normally do, or do I do like I did for the top piece and take the cardboard out? I didn't know, but I took it out. So, and I thought, well, I don't know, is that shape going to really hold? It really does. I stuffed it pretty well with the crushed walnut shells. As I left an opening and then would put more in and pack it in and then do a few more stitches and try to pack more in. So it worked pretty well. So I'm pretty happy with this one. October 31st, Blackbird Designs. Okay, the next one I have to show you is First Winds of Autumn from the same book. This is the huge strawberry with the Mr. Crow. I have my initial there. The year I finished it, there. Was that 23? It is stitched on 37 count corn tassel by Legacy Linen. I used the floss conversion, the DMC floss conversion that's listed in the pattern. Blackbird always provides a DMC conversion. I'd made a few changes. I changed the number of leaves. It called for 10 leaves. I changed it to 8 because I really, let me find that picture. I really didn't like the way the leaves were finished on it. What page is it on? Frankly, in my jargon, I thought it looked messy. And people would look at it and say, yeah, you made a mess of that. Well, that's the way it oops, I can't show that page. Let me see this. Sorry. So see the way they are at the top? They're just all gathered in there and tied on, and they used the velveteen for the stem and then like pulled threads at the end of the stem. I don't know, maybe it looks artsy, but I didn't like it. I thought it looked a little messy. So using my prerogative, it's my project, I'll finish it the way I want. So I went from 10 leaves to 8, and I did not string them along and stitch them an inch from the top and then put it around. I stitched each one to the stem, and I evenly arranged them, and just a little bit at the top. And then to finish it off, I put a bow of the floss, which is not a Blackbird Design kind of finish look. It's more Brenda Gervais, but I liked it better. And I did not use the velveteen for the stem. I used a piece of wool that I had, and I stuffed, of course, with crushed walnut shells, and it's a pretty good tight finish. I like it. I did jam some quilt batting down in the tip because I find the walnut shells tend to migrate out. I never get them quite full enough that they stay, so I think that'll help the tip stay firmer. So there it is. First Winds of Autumn from the book Winds of Autumn, Blackbird Design. And I think I told you I used all DMC on that. Sorry. Stitch her down. Okay. The next one, the Pennsylvania Dutch Pinkeep. Where's my pattern? Here it is. Okay. Pennsylvania Dutch Pinkeep. This is all going to fall. Okay. Brenda Gervais with the needle and thread. Okay. No, my pedestal I have, but it's not painted yet, so I have not glued it on yet. When I set up for painting, I will paint all the things I have that need painting and do it at one time. So I have this, I have the box for casting a spell, which I haven't started stitching yet, but I have the box, you know, you get it when you see it. So I'll paint that. I have 2 trays that I plan to mount some pieces in, a Brenda Gervais piece and another, I think it was a primitive hair or something, but I have plans for those, so I'll do all my painting at once. I have some paper mache letters, I have USA and I have Boo. I'll paint those, you know, for setup, display setup. So that's not painted, so it's not attached, but here is my drum. Whoops, here's the center front. Here's center back. I'm pretty pleased with myself the way I got that to match up until I got kind of down to the bottom. You know, you do this part on the sewing machine and it got off a little bit, but I was not going to take it out and mess and try to fix it and make it worse. So, so that's that. And I was going to show you that glue. I can't get it right now. If you want to know the fabric glue I used, ask me in the comments and I'll tell you what it was. I got it at Hobby Lobby. I can't remember what it was called, but it's worked really well for me on other projects too. Daughter was getting son's clothing ready for camp and was ironing on name labels on the back of a shorts that was an athletic wear kind of thing and melted a hole in it. So I searched for a fabric glue that I could use, you know, to put a piece of fabric to fill the little hole and glue it so it would stay, and it worked really well. And I used it on this at the top, and I used it to put the top on the strawberry and a little drop on the bow that I put on the strawberry. Let's see, so this is stitched on 36 count vintage country Mocha. The DMC is number 22, Alizarin. I did make a change. She called for coffee dyed crochet thread to attach the strawberry, and I had number 5 pearl cotton in this color of green, and I thought it was good, so I used that instead. I didn't particularly like the crochet thread look, especially a coffee dyed. I didn't think it went. So that's my Pennsylvania Dutch Pinkeep done. I found the velvet top really hard to sew on, and I don't know if it was because it was velvet. I don't know, but I can see that I got a little crooked. I kind of got way close to the tops of my stitches there, and I didn't intend to, but trying to get that bite in there was hard. And I didn't get it filled as tightly as I like. I just found it hard to manipulate with the velvet top, and that was me, I think. So this is done. Ta-da, check. Okay. The next one I finished is Counting is Hard from Luminous Fiber Arts. This is the second time I've stitched this. I stitched this as a smalls giveaway exchange for StitchCon last year, which, by the way, today is the opening of StitchCon Weekend A. Hope all our friends are having fun. Anyway, so I've stitched this again for myself, and I finished as a flat fold using Vonna Pfeifer's tutorial on her website, the Twisted Stitcher, and her tutorials are wonderful, easy to find. I used her tutorial for making my cording. I used her new method, which is better, I think, because the old method you had to end up holding it up in the air and letting the twister spin or something. Well, if you have a long piece, I had to get up on like a step ladder to get it off the floor. Anyway, this method was better. So if you haven't tried the newer method, you might want to try that. The finishing fabric I've had in my stash since the late 1980s. It's Debbie Mumm. It's sewing themed, which is fine. It's sewing themed. I thought in my memory of this fabric, I knew I had it in there, and I all along had planned to use that to finish. I thought it was a lighter color. It's a little darker than I remembered, but it's fine. I have a nice finish. I'm happy with it. Counting is hard. Luminous Fiber Arts. Did I show the pattern? No, I did not. That's Misty Purcell, Luminous Fiber Arts. So I'm happy with that. I'm happy with those finishes. Sorry, bending out of the way so I can get these out of the way, because as I move along, I'm going to have more stuff over there. Okay, and this. Okay, those are my FFOs. That was a challenge. I have a few that are not done yet. I have 10 Prairie Schooler Santas that will be ornaments, and frankly, I put that off because cutting that mat board is going to kill my wrist and hand. And 10 of them, that's 20 pieces of that mat board that I have to cut. So Mr. Enabler encouraged me to check when I get my framing done if they could cut them for me. So I'm going for it because it'll kill me. And the other one I have is Midnight Ride, Blackbird Designs. It's round with the crow with the witch's hat on it. Their finish is on a shaker box, which is beautiful. I would love to do that. I did not find anything that I liked to finish it on. I looked at the paper mache boxes, which would be fine. The short squatty one, which is what I would have gotten, was not the right diameter. And the one that was the right diameter was a taller one, and I don't want a tall one. So I'll keep looking for that. So that's my excuse with that. I don't have anything to put it on. And my excuse for the Prairie Schooler Santas is I need to get that cardboard cut for me because I can't do it. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Okay, next I have a finish. My focus piece, mason jar lineup, done. Isn't it pretty? Look at that. Oh, and that back stitching, as we've said all along, just really makes them pop. Really, every different kind is just so much fun to look at. Oh, I love them. I love them. I love them. So on Tuesday, this will go for framing along with the other two that I've mentioned that I'm having reframed. I did put my initials and the year at the bottom. That'll just be in the margin. Okay, here, see this one with the white French knots. It called for 5 strands of thread, of floss. Oh my word. I have trouble enough making neat French knots with 2 strands, but 5 strands, I don't know. I guess they're supposed to be big. It's a good thing because they are big. I thought about taking them out and just doing 2 strands and letting it go, but no, it called for that, and I'm going to stick with it, I guess. So, focus piece done. Going to be framed. Now I have another focus piece. I'll tell you what it is when I get to it. Oh wait, maybe you can put these over here. Sorry. I'm anticipating how I'm going to have to move things around when I want to show you at the end. Okay, sorry. I may as well just do it at the end because I'm just making a scene trying to do it now. Okay, so that was my finished object. So happy to have that done. That was on 14 count Aida. It was a dimensions kit. It came with the flosses. I shared with you before how I got the PDF download to use so I could use it on my iPad. That was very, very helpful. I thank the viewer who shared that with me, and I put it in my notes and shared it with everyone. So if you need that, go on back a couple videos, I think, and it's in there in the notes. Okay, and I also did stitching. If I wasn't finishing, I was stitching. I had a good 2 weeks. Let me show what I've got here. So I finished out May. Not a lot of stickers. I had a spot there to do a sticker. Finished out May and I started June. I have no stickers on here yet. Oh, that's July. How about if I go to June? June, I got to start. And focus piece is already checked off because I finished it. Ta-da! And I'll decide how I'm going to divide out my days. But anyway, there's my book of days. So the first one I stitched on, that was not my focus piece, or anyway, was Margaret Doyle, Hands Across the Sea. This was a what do you call it? Special. It was only available through Kitten Stitcher. Exclusive. Use your words, Karen. Sorry. It was an exclusive to Kitten Stitcher, Margaret Doyle. She's a pretty girl. No, well, it's a boy actually in the picture. This isn't Margaret. Margaret stitched it, but that's the boy. So I finished up flower here. I extended this border and I worked on this little guy some more. I still don't know what he's doing. At first I thought he was reading a book. Now I think maybe he's eating something. I can't tell if that's, I have to get more stitching done to tell. I can't tell. It's stitched on 40 count Eureka by Fox and Rabbit, and I'm using all DMC floss, stitching 1/2. That's Margaret Doyle. Okay, the next thing I stitched on from Scarlet House, the Smith Sampler. This was my birthday start this year. I hope to get it done before my next birthday. If not, no big deal, but I'll start something else for my birthday then too, because that's what I do. Okay, Smith Sampler. And here it is. I worked on it like even a partial day because I absolutely wanted to finish the whole top section, so I did. So I think it was 2.5 days, or 3.5 days I put in to get that done. So that's approximately a fourth of it. So, and I'm using 40 count, where is it? 40 count stone, cottage stone from Color and Cotton. And I told you I copied that from Sarah's Stitchy Spot. And I'm using the Vicki Clayton silk conversion. I love those silks. They're wonderful to work with. Beautiful colors. And I love the way it's showing on this fabric. So it was a great choice of fabric. And I don't take any credit for the choice of fabric. I do monkey see, monkey do. Work very well. Okay, that's Smith Sampler. Okay. The next one I worked on was Margaret Hutton. Margaret Hutton is Hands Across the Sea. This is the piece that Nicola Parkman used at the retreat in Cincinnati to teach us specialty stitches. These specialty stitches I can actually do. Unlike another one we'll talk about another time. Okay, Margaret Hutton. I had already extended the border to the bottom here, and then I finished and established the width here, so I can start doing these rows, and I'll know where to stop, and then I'll continue down and do rows. I don't know if you can see them. They really don't show. This camera isn't very good. I mean, we have rice stitches in green, alternating something, back stitch, alternating something, with four-sided stitch, ABC there. These letters had curly cues added to them, and I don't remember what that was called. And then this is the Algerian eyelet. That's the start of that row. So, great fun, sweet little sampler. I enjoy doing the specialty stitches. Some days X's are even more than I can do, but I enjoy the specialty stitches anyway. Okay, next is Forget Me Not from Modern Folk Embroidery. Whoops, what did I do? I picked up. Modern Folk Embroidery. And those of you who've been with me are tired of hearing this, but I have new subscribers, so I'm going to say it. This is the pattern that Katie Strachan used to mount stitching onto a box, a specific size wooden box, and that is what I'm doing. She stitched hers in red, and hers was called Simple Harmony. I'm just calling mine Forget Me Not, as the pattern is called. And that's for Modern Folk Embroidery, if I didn't say that. And I explained last time how I'm doing the back differently than what Katie did. I've switched it out and made sure it would all fit, and I have plenty of room. In fact, I can put some small motifs in even when I get my initials in and so forth. Let's see, I haven't done too much more. I finished filling out the border here and got those in. And I was on a Zoom call and I was doing this bird and I was suspecting I may have made a mistake. So I stopped. I have to look at that before I continue stitching and make sure I've got that correct. But this is the last side of the box, and Forget Me Not is now my focus piece. It is my oldest WIP. So for new subscribers, I require myself to stitch 7 days in a month on my oldest WIP. That way they don't get left behind and forgotten and ignored. So this is now my oldest WIP. I will give it 7 days in the month, even though I did part of the, although I can mess with it because part of my June days were finishing up mason jar lineup. That was the previous focus, so maybe I'll only do the remainder of those 7. I'll see. But I have lots of time to play around, lots of days to play around with it because mason jars is finished, so that opens up some time. So Forget Me Not. Okay. And the last one I worked on, time-wise, Katharina Adriana Lenuson, 1777. She is a beauty. She's a supposed in lore, whether Germanic or Celtic, a seafarer's, I don't know, helper, something. A goddess of seafarers. That's our goddess. She's a goddess. Okay, and I'm doing this on scroll rods because she's a big girl. She's a wide one. I have now established the full width, and I'm now filling in the colors. Oops, I don't know if you can see that. Probably not. There are little stitches inside these little teeny flowers, and then the reddish flower on each of those. So I have the width established, so I can start playing off it and picking up some of those designs. She is being stitched on 46 count praline or praline, however you want to say it, from Forbidden Fiber Co. And the nice people at the attic selected that for me because couldn't find what Emily C is using Dusty Road or something like that. And they didn't have it, and I wanted a nice high count, so they suggested this, and I'm very happy with it. I think it has a nice amount of modeling to look like the antique. And I'm using all the called for DMC. It only calls for DMC. And it's, you know, there's not a model stitched of it. It's based on, it's taken from the actual antique that's in a museum in, is it in Leiden? Someplace in the Netherlands. So anyway, so that's that one. Those are the WIPs I was working on this month. And I have some haul to share with you. One thing is my shirt. Stitch Folk. Thank you, Barry. I love it. Stitching with Friends and Mrs. Flossie Bossy. Miss Flossie Bossy. Love that little face. Okay, I have a sweatshirt too, but it's upstairs. I didn't bring it. So let's see. So that was my Stitch Folk haul. Hobby House haul. Okay, Hobby House. I took advantage of the discount certificate that was in the Words of Wisdom box, and I kitted up Sarah Burt, 1841. This is the large sampler that was in the Words of Wisdom box, and I have it kitted up. I kitted it with, and I didn't open the package yet, 46 count, one more reproduction linen from Bestitch Me. I love Bestitch Me fabrics. Oh, why don't I just open it up? Because why not? Oh, it's pretty, pretty, pretty. Pretty, pretty, pretty. One more reproduction. And it has only 2 colors and a couple spools of each, so 4 spools. This is 103s. So she's kitted up. Very reasonably, I might say. Okay, so thank you to Hobby House for that coupon that you put in the Words of Wisdom box from Nicola. Appreciate that. Okay, let's see, what else do I have here? Okay, from Fat Quarter Shop, I got my Floss Frenzy, my Weeks Dye Works Thread Club. Now I'm doing these out of order, so my notes are not here. But I want to share with you, if you have not seen this, Missy of 2 Needles Pulling Thread showed these plastic, they're dropped. They come like this. You get a box from Amazon, you have 300. And it comes like 10 to a sheet. And she showed, I'm not going to redo it or steal her thunder, she showed how you use those and put them on the Weeks Dye Works, the Weeks tags, because you know they don't hang the same way that like Classic Colorworks hangs or others, because these are short. And so by putting this plastic piece on top, it'll hang the same way the others hang on your ring. And I'm putting in the notes below the link to her video. It's just a short, it's just a Flosstube extra that she recorded. When I upload it, I hope it shows. That's all I can say. I've put the details in there, so I hope it stays there. Okay, and Country Stitches Online. Okay, there were some things I've been watching for, and I've tried to order, you know, and then they're not there. They're not there. I look for them. Well, they're right there. So these little wool, or felted wool, little mint candies and candy canes for the display with my little Christmas pillows and things. Got those. The small strawberry, again, for a summer display. That was available. And this little kit comes with printed fabric and the wool and the pins and everything you need. Because I need another pincushion. I love pincushions. It's like I've started a collection or something. So that was my haul from Country Stitches Online. I'll try to put these here so they won't all go tumbling. Where'd my needles go? Okay, from Etsy. Needles, exciting. These are called Colonial Needles. They're size 28 petite Colonial Needles, and you purchase them on Etsy. And Barry from Stitch Folk, when we were at the retreat in Cincinnati, said these are her favorite needles. So I got them, and I'm trying them. I'm not sure that petite is good for my fat fingers, but I only did a little bit of try. I'm going to stick with it and I've put it in with my kit, my Margaret Hutton kit bag, so that's what I'm going to use on that and see how I like those. So Colonial Needles. Okay, then a 1, 2, 3 stitch. I have been hankering for this patriotic, and so I got that from 1, 2, 3 Stitch. And of course, you can't just order one thing and pay postage for one thing. So my wish list had blue skin, and last time I had looked for it, they didn't have it, so it was there. So I have that. So I have that and Nelson, and my George and Martha things that I have to stitch. So I've got a nice little mess of things ready to stitch. And I got another Snag Nabbit because I keep losing it. I don't know where. So I love Snag Nabbit. It pulls those little thread ends in, or the fuzzies that stick up, and you just pull it down, and it pulls it to the back, and whoosh, gone. I like my snag nabbit. So I think that was my haul. Yes, indeed, that was my haul. So I'm trying to think how I'm going to manage this thing over here. So my plans. We have an in-person stitching, Central Kentucky Stitchers in person next week. If you are interested and are anywhere in the area of near Georgetown, Kentucky, not too far from Lexington, you're welcome to join the Facebook group, and you'll know the date, the time, the place, all the details you need to know. Come join us and stitch. It'd be great fun. We love having new people. We like our Hathaway stitchers. Love them. Okay, I'm going to spend some time on the sewing machine. I want to get some giveaway things prepared. So some of my stitching time will be spent on my sewing machine, and I'll be quilting on my long arm, and I will show you what I'm going to be doing on that next. My new focus piece is Forget-Me-Not, so I'll be stitching on that. My red sampler this month still is Peaceful Kingdom until I get that done, and then I have others lined up ready to go. And I do 3 days a month on a red sampler, always have a red sampler on the go. And then whatever WIPs I feel like stitching, I've got so many going, the ones I've shown you already, and then I have Ann Gott is sitting over there waiting to be done. What is that, Pins and Needles, the Brenda Gervais set of sewing themed littles, smalls. I've got all kinds of things in there that I want to touch again, so I should have time this month to touch quite a few things. So I'm going to now, okay, I'm finished with cross stitch. So if you're not interested in the quilts or quilting, go ahead and say goodbye, and I'll see you in 2 weeks, I hope, and see you later. Now I'm going to move some things here, so don't get queasy. Okay, I can show that. Gotta move, okay, have to move some stuff out of the way. I want to keep my notes here so I remember. Okay, I'll tell you before I move. Okay, the featured quilt, this quilt on the back wall, is the 2013 Designer Mystery Quilt from the Fat Quarter Shop. The fabrics were from Fig Tree Company. Love her fabrics. And let's see, it was the 2013 Mystery, and I completed it in July 2015. And so I did it on my long arm. By that time I had my long arm, so that was an early long arm. Okay, I'm going to close down my notes here. Hope I didn't forget anything, and move. Hang on. Sorry, you're jumping. I've got to move the table so I can move. Okay. There are 12 blocks, each block different, designed by a different designer, quilting designer. I don't remember who designed which ones or anything, so all are different. I'll just kind of give you an overview first of the blocks. Houses, love houses. So the rows are kind of in theme. Notice the top row, baskets, next row, stars, next row, houses, next row, I think, whoops, now I put my hand in there. I think there were supposed to be blossoms, like flowers, or, no, I'm not aiming it right there, okay. So that was a fun one. Okay, now I'll show you the details of the quilting. Custom quilting, I was relatively new to it, but I was trying every kind of quilting I could. I did some continuous curve, but not much. You see, I was not brave enough to do it in here. I think I must have used my curved ruler to give a little curve there. You'll recognize this. I do this a lot. Figure eight, or what else do they call it? Figure eight or something. I do that a lot in sashing. Did just a simple X here where it crossed. And so the figure eight is all in all of these sashings that have the center strip on it. And as I say, custom in each feathers. Not too bad. I've done worse, that's for sure. Whoops. And this I just made up a little twirl. That was new to me. Yeah, I don't know if you can see, is this showing? You can see the curve there? Yeah, I had a curved ruler to do a curve. Did some swirly background. Look at that. Boy, I was getting good use out of that curved ruler, wasn't I? I did some curved crosshatch here. That was challenging. A little bit of continuous curve. I see I wasn't very brave about the triangles. I just did stitch in the ditch at the triangles. Didn't want to push myself, I guess. Okay, and the stars, let's see. There did some continuous curve just to fill a block. Straight line. Straight line, straight line. Not too creative, Karen, I don't know, whatever. And again, I was not very brave with that continuous curve. I think I probably did not have the path down in my brain as to how to do that very well. Because now I look at that and oh, I would have been curving all over the place on that one. There's another. Some curvy curvies. Yeah, I think I used a, yeah, I did. I had a small circle, so I could do that, and that, and that, and that. I bet I started and stopped each time, too. There's that one. Some back and forth. Okay, houses. This is going to be a challenge to aim it. Okay, did the tile roof. Continuous curve in the windows, continuous curve there, and a little window in the door. This is kind of fun to go back to these earlier ones where I would stand and stare and go, oh, what will I quilt? What will I quilt? I have no idea. What would I do? I have a lot more ideas now, but okay. And here are the blooms. A little bit of ruler work there in the straights in those. Oops, in the straights. I'm pointing at my camera. In the straights there. Okay, more curve, wow. Use that ruler. I paid for it, I was gonna use it. A little bit of feathering in the corners, okay. Okay, so now, the border. Now, when I can use the piecing to do my measuring, that's a good day. I didn't, so you see this piecing here? I used the piecing to determine my size. I didn't have to measure and make marks and figure it out. Now, if I step back here, I don't know if you can still see that. Each of those, okay, well, okay, here, let me see. In the corner here, it goes 3/4 of the way around. I don't know if you can see that. And then I went point to point, 2 points, and then 2 points, and 2 points, and 2 points across with the curve, and then filled in with feathers. And you'll see my favorite border, the piano key. Now on the sides, it was a different size. So, oops, I picked up a thread here. Woo, long thread, okay. On the sides, I had to do 3 in the middle, oops. This one had to go 3 points. So it worked to go around the corner, and then 2, and then 3, and then 2, and 2, and 2. And then on this side also, the curve, a single, and then a 3, and then 2, and 2, and 2. So that's how it went. Now when I did, this was a little free motion leaves or something. I must have seen a video that showed me how to do that. I don't think I've done that since. Anyway. Okay, so that's that quilt. Whatever year that was that 2012 I said? Yeah, 2012, and then I finished it in 2015, which means I finished the quilting in 2015. Fat Quarter Shop, Designer Mystery. Okay, now I have a quilt flopped on my ironing table here that I'm going to show you that I did in 2012, and I stitched it on my domestic machine. I quilted it on my domestic machine because I didn't have a long arm. And I was so creative, I did stitch in the ditch and straight line, and that's all I did. Now I look at it and think, oh, I could do so much. And I'm going to put this on the long arm. I'll put fabric strips at the top and the bottom where I pin it on so I can get close to the edge. And I'll do some fun quilting on it. So I'll show it to you now the way it is, and then after I've done some quilting, I'll show you what it ends up being. Okay, so here, oops, get your hand out of the way. Okay, here. Woo, okay, here we go. This is not going to show up very well. I thought I could really show it nicely. I can't. It's called Prism, and it was designed by Anna Maria Horner, and this was back in the times when I read blogs and I did a blog and all that stuff. So I want to see if you can see it. The colors. Okay, now what I wanted to show you, I had in my head an idea that I could show you this design. Okay, so the colors go, oh, you can't even see me. Yes, my iron lives on this ironing table here. Okay, it's bands that go around a hexagon in color families. So like here's a band of brown and gold, and it goes brown, gold, brown, gold, gold, brown, turns down the other side of the hexagon, brown, gold, brown. It continues down all the way around. The next ring in is reds. Reds across the top, and where a smaller hexagon spills, it takes from this color family and this color family to do that smaller hexagon. So here are the reds, peachy, coral, red, red, and then down. Are you seeing it? I can't even see what I'm aiming at. Comes across red, up red, red, and then the next ring in is kind of the pinky purples. I don't know what that's called. So purple, 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 and it goes around, and then the center is the darkest purples in a hexagon. And blue, the outer corner, can you see it? The outer corner out there? That's blue, it's just at the corners of the quilt. So I plan to, at first I thought I would be doing like a straight border here and then do a fill, and then a straight border and a fill, but I'm not going to do that. When I really looked at this again and saw how these rings of color go, I think I'm going to do feathers. Feathers, feathers around, feathers down, so that it accents those circles. That's what I'm thinking right now. I'll see what I do when I get it on the machine. So I thought you might like to see a before and after. And when I practice, I might not even do the whole thing. I might just do some and get practiced and then get my next quilt on the machine so I can get going on something that I hope to get done in time for the state fair. So, and then I go back to this and throw it back on and do some more quilting. So that's what I'm thinking right now. That's my quilting plans. And that's it for today. Thank you so much for stopping by. I'll be back in 2 weeks. I hope you will too. Remember to subscribe. I should have some giveaways ready for next time. See you in 2 weeks. Bye-bye, Flosstube.